It's me, Liz Merrill with Open Space Mediation. I'm going to continue my talks about high conflict personalities and predictable patterns that you can see in divorce courts, part 2, and I'm just going to jump right into it. Patterns that you see in court from high conflict personalities, people who often have personality disorders as a part of their high conflict personality. Here are some things that, again, you see pretty often, especially in divorce, which is so emotionally fraught as it is and is by its very nature adversarial. Projection, that's one of the things that you might see that is surprising or might surprise you, and it certainly muddies the water in divorce court. But high conflict personalities, or blamers, as Bill Eddy calls them, can really project their own deficiencies onto the other party. They might try to convince friends or family or the court or divorce professionals or attorneys that their partner is a child abuser or a child alienator or a batterer or the one with the alcohol or addiction problem or a liar who makes false allegations or unfit or deadbeat or any other kind of bad parent. You see a lot of emotional persuasion, and this is a big problem if you're trying to divorce somebody who is skilled at this, and people who have high conflict personalities often are very skilled at convincing others. It can be very emotionally persuasive, and they will often win in court because emotions can add credibility and power to a person's statement. And if this happens early on in the process, the target of the blamer will have a hard time defending themselves against this initial negative stereotype. I want to talk a little bit about negative stereotyping right now. It is a phenomenon that has been studied quite a lot, and research has found that even without solid facts, people in and out of court, not just in court, can be very susceptible to initial accusations, and that tends to color subsequent impressions and understanding of the situation and of the parties, and that can really bite you in the butt in court. Another thing that kind of goes along with that is emotional reasoning, emotional facts, and these come from the cognitive distortion that people have if they have a personality disorder or a high conflict personality. They feel so strongly about something that in their mind it becomes a fact. They might not be true at all. They are emotionally generated false information that they accept as truth, and they can put out there and convince other people that that's true as well. So while we're talking about those other people, we can also talk about what some people call flying monkeys or negative advocates. Blamers or high conflict personalities will recruit people who completely agree with them and their beliefs and their emotional facts. And that can be attorneys or therapists or a judge or friends. And as an attorney, that really aligns with what they do to begin with, which is to represent the party and to reflect what they want them to reflect. Parental alienation is something that you hear a lot of in a divorce proceeding with a high conflict personality. This is all connected to this false public persona that they can be so skilled at presenting. I've so often talked to clients who share this with me, that there's this one person in public and this other person in private. That's, especially with personality disorders, something that you see, and it's obviously a problem in court. They can come in and seem very reasonable and just like they have their stuff together, and sometimes they can trigger the other party very subtly so that no one notices it except the target, and really escalate them emotionally, which can be a very bad reaction to have in court. It can color the impression of both parties. And then the more the target tries to defend themselves, the worse it can look. You know what I mean? I think we've all been there where someone's accused us of something we didn't do, or we just fall all over ourselves. Like, no, that's not true. That's not true. But on the other hand, if you're being blamed in court by someone who has this public persona and is appearing very calm and is telling the court that, you're a druggie or whatever, and you're just sitting there saying nothing, that also can have a negative impact on the way that the court perceives you. Another pattern that I think I've already talked about is doing anything to win. Often they have fantasies of success in court, and they watch movies where people take the stand and have a huge dramatic plea, and that's the way that they're going to win in court. They often have no problem using the court and their court procedures to their own end. It's easy to file motions, right? So why not? It's easy to lie, and it's hard to prove, and it's hard to penalize. And they often will get sympathy when they lie and tell their sad stories, and that really feeds into what's causing them to be high conflict in the first place. They can often get attorneys to sympathize with them. They can make all the allegations they want, and that will often result in investigations and involvement of other professionals. And again, that can really increase the time that it takes to get through the process. And post-divorce this doesn't stop often. It will continue on with motions for parenting time changes, or, just all kinds of things. So I hope that these videos that I've created about high conflict personalities in a divorce setting, in a court setting, will help you understand and recognize patterns people often see. If you have this going on in your life, if you have questions about it, if you would like to know how to manage this, if you are going through a divorce with a high conflict person, let me know, because there are lots of ways that you can prepare and kind of strategize around these predictable patterns. All right, that's it for now. Bye.